Welcome back to Selling Sanity. I am your hostess, Theresa Concepcion, Esquire, and this is part 3 or episode 3 of the 3-part introduction to the Selling Sanity podcast. Today's episode is called Jason Oppenheim is a P.I.M.P, or Ryan Serhant is who Jason wishes he could be. Let's jump right in. So, as I've stated in prior episodes, if you're new to the podcast, welcome. I have been following the cast of Selling Sunset on Instagram for about 5 years now. The cast has always been very active on Instagram. They have much bigger followings on Instagram than they do on TikTok. And so the cast does a lot of lives. They do a lot of Ask Me Anythings. They're very responsive to people in the comments. And on occasion, I've DM'd with a few members of the cast. And before season 9 aired, I did a few videos recapping seasons 1 through 8. And in one of those videos, I broke down why I believed that Selling Sunset is racist. I didn't even need to see season 9 to reach that conclusion. I had already reached it. And because I had posted that right before the season premiered, I did get behind the scenes tea about the episode or the scene where Jason and Mary fire Chelsea. Chelsea calls them out for being racist, and Jason insists that the cameras be turned off and that the footage not be included in season 9. So apparently an argument ensues, and ultimately Jason Oppenheim threatens to cancel Selling Sunset and Selling OC if the production company chooses to air the footage of a black woman calling him racist in his own office. So that's where we were at the end of season 9, and that's why season 9 ended in such an awkward and unfinished way, because Jason essentially would prefer to put however many people work behind the scenes on the production side of both of those shows and the cast members out of a job, as opposed to showing a black woman calling him out for his racism. Now, Jason and Brett Oppenheim, when they started this show, it seemed like it was going to be a let's have the cameras follow around these badass women agents as they sell homes. And for a little while, it seemed to mostly go in that direction. But then 2 things happened that made this show change course. Number 1 was Jason Oppenheim started dating Chriselle Staus, not in season 5, but way back in season 4, and potentially through the end of when season 3 was being filmed. And his relationship with Chriselle Staus is why I believe the show was edited in such a way as to favor Chriselle, make Chriselle the favorite, and ultimately, when they break up because he doesn't want to have a kid, at no point in time does Jason go to his former partner and say, "You are harassing people who represent the Oppenheim Group. So moving forward, if you have any issues or concerns with respect to drug use, you should bring those issues to me and Brett, not broadcast them for, the entire office to hear about." He never says anything remotely like that. Contrast to Ryan Serhant and my favorite reality show on real estate, Owning Manhattan. Because in one episode, and only one, 2 agents tried to pull a Selling Sunset version of drama at a professional open house for a building that I think was going for about $10 million. And Ryan Serhant looked quietly livid. He told them both that they needed to leave. And in his camera interview, he said that he is ruthless when it comes to protecting his brand. This is his company. This is what he has put his blood, sweat, tears into. This is the kind of person that any real estate agent should want to work for, whether there are cameras around or not. Because if you were to be like Ryan Serhant and say, I don't care how much you sell, if you are an asshole, I will fire you, Chriselle Staus would have been fired at least 15 times by now. But at no point does Jason step in to do what an owner is supposed to do. When he sees or hears that Nicole and Chriselle are having an argument, what does he say? These are two agents representing the Oppenheim Group and are arguing at a $20 million open house. Let me go talk to them and say whatever the issue is. Next time, understand that a professional event is not the place to air those issues out. That would have shown on Selling Sunset a business owner who is concerned with the reputation of his brokerage. But instead, we've seen the evolution from a business owner concerned about the reputation of his brokerage to a reality TV producer more concerned with ratings than the well-being of his cast. Because at no point did Jason ever step in, regardless of what kind of argument was taking place. Now, should he have stepped in on private arguments in restaurants or on boardwalks or in people's homes that wasn't a professional event? No. But when something goes down at an open house, he has a responsibility not just to the cast members, but to the people who are actually there, the real clients, the real brokers from other agencies. Those people are taking that listing and that business event seriously, and he has allowed his own clients' properties to become stages for drama. And when Brie Tiesi joined the show, one of the things, there's a scene where someone says, raise your hand if you've slept with Jason Oppenheim. And Mary, Chriselle, Nicole raised their hands, which at that time, given who was present, is half the office. And then Brie goes on camera and literally says, what the fuck is this? You have to sleep with Jason to work here. And let me pause right there and say, that is the kind of valid question that creates a sexually hostile work environment in the real world. Two things are preventing this situation with Jason from being legal. Number one, everyone in the Oppenheim Group is an independent broker, not an employee. And so he technically does not have to comply with the federal anti-harassment laws in the workplace. That is also why he's never gotten any kind of HR person to deal with the variety of issues that come up. Because if he gets an HR person, then he is essentially saying they are responsible for human resources issues legally. He doesn't want that legal responsibility, so there's no HR. Everyone's an independent contractor, and he gets to just throw his arms up and walk away when a person he's known for 18 years is falsely accused of using drugs because the woman he most recently was in a relationship with couldn't stand the fact that the other woman liked his new girlfriend and pointed out that she had received credit for one of Chriselle's, purported sales. So Jason is, I say, a P.I.M.P because he seems to want to either fuck the women in his office or make money from the women in his office. And if he's not making money off of them through real estate sales, then he wants to make money off of them in the reality show setting which is why Amanda has to still be on this show. Because I only remember Amanda ringing the bell once right after that bell arrived, and it wasn't even in front of people at the office. It was, during her on-camera time. Has Amanda done any real estate in how many seasons? She held an open house in the rain. We never heard about that house again. And the next thing you know, she's going back to her art. Interestingly enough, though, in Palm Springs, Amanda said, I've never fucked Jason. Fast forward to the reunion where they're doing some weird lie detector. And Amanda's like, I don't need to strap in. Yes, I fucked Jason. I've had sex with Jason. Well, we've hooked up. Well, we've kissed. If you're going to be friends with someone 25 years, something's bound to happen. And then look at Jason's face. And so he slept with Amanda, who's not producing, at least on the real estate side, but is being very dramatic on camera for his benefit, because as an executive producer, he makes money off of this show, obviously. He slept with Amanda, he slept with Chrishell, and as I laid out in the prior episode, based on what these people have revealed on the show and in interviews after the show, I genuinely believe that Jason and Chrishell were involved before Justin Hartley filed for divorce. He slept with Mary. He slept with Nicole. That's 4 people. Okay. He now is with someone who's from one of his offices. So Jason is not interested in being an entrepreneur. He's interested in treating his office like it's a hen house and his dating pool. Because there was one episode in particular in Selling OC where Jason interviews a girl who just graduated college, who's coming in from Nashville, who's unfamiliar with Los Angeles, and most importantly, who does not have her real estate license. And she gets a job. The hardest question that he asked her during that interview was, what was your GPA? So he literally hired an unqualified white girl. Why? Well, she looks an awful lot like Nicole and Chrishell and Mary and the new girl that he's dating. So he clearly is hiring either people that he wants to sleep with, people that he has slept with, and when it's someone that isn't his type, like Chelsea Lascani, then you've got to jump through hoops. Because it wasn't enough for Jason that Chelsea had a master's degree. It wasn't enough for Jason that Chelsea had prior real estate experience. It wasn't enough for Jason that Jason sold her husband a home. He was like, well, I already hired Vanessa, who's never proven her ability to sell anything. So you are going to have to prove that that you can sell something. And yet when she did it, how is she welcomed? She comes in and says, so where's my desk? Because they didn't have a desk ready for her. If you're welcoming a new employee, especially someone who had to sell a $4+ million property to join the brokerage, is it really beyond the realm of professionalism for you to have a desk picked out? You guys have to have a debate in front of her. Where should I sit? Where should I sit? Where should I sit? Until Maya's like, well, you know what? Now I'm leaving. You can have my desk. Come on. I don't remember Chrishell looking confused about where she was going to sit when she joined. So the disparity in how Jason has treated Chelsea directly and how he has allowed Mary to treat Chelsea in comparison to how Mary treats all the other brokers and agents who are white. When Mary had a dispute with Davina, who's an agent and a broker, Mary took her out for a meal and said, you're not invited to my wedding. When Chelsea sent by delivery a bouquet of flowers, Mary goes off the rails, storms off, yells at production, storms back in, says she would commit murder, cries about it being on camera, then later is triggered at the sight of Chelsea's name, makes Chelsea the center of attention at a party where she's not even there, and then Mary again goes on some coke-fueled rage during a dinner that ultimately ends in Jason Oppenheim saying cameras off. And Scary Mary, as I've said in the other episode, is Mary Bonet's nickname when she's high on cocaine. So if I'm looking at this from an objective outsider point of view, which I am, I don't know any of these people. All I can do is evaluate their behavior, their conduct, their morals by what they do, by what they have allowed themselves to be filmed doing. And I can judge Jason Oppenheim based on what he, as an executive producer, allowed to air and what he did not allow to air. And from what I can see, Jason has allowed himself to be shown interviewing and hiring an unqualified white woman, interviewing and making a black woman sell a $4 million plus home. He's shown himself saying he doesn't want to get involved in between an argument with two agents because he slept with both of them. Again, if this was in the real world, the fact that the owner cannot resolve a dispute between two employees because he had sex with both of them would equate to a hostile work environment. Just because he knows the legal loopholes does not mean morally he should not have some kind of system in place where if he does not feel that he can handle certain conflicts, that he's delegating those conversations to someone who actually can handle the conflicts. Because then what he wound up having doing was having Mary sit there, and she was completely ineffectual in trying to mediate anything between the two of them. She just said, I'll let you guys talk. The talk went nowhere, surprise, surprise. And Mary could only, exhale. So why exactly did Mary get a promotion to manager if she's so bad at the job? Could it be that Jason feels like he has to support in some way her because he's employing her husband, he's employing her, he's promoting her for positions that she's clearly out of her depth performing. He's giving her listings, if you believe Heather and Maya and Davina from earlier seasons, because of their past friendship. And now, in this season 9, he was ready to fire Chelsea Lascani because Mary tearfully asked him to do so with her fake crocodile coke-fueled tears. Jason doesn't respect the women that he works for. He uses them. He exploits them. He knows that Amanda Smith has had drug issues, as she herself has most recently declared in podcasts talking about her long history of drug abuse. And that's an upcoming podcast, the use of drugs on Selling Sunset. But if he knows that at least 2 of his dear friends are struggling with some kind of addiction, Mary and Amanda, and he does not tell them they cannot film unless they are sober, then he is exploiting those women and exploiting their addiction because he's allowing them to get on camera in an inebriated state and that in a way that makes them look insane and ridiculous. But it's good for ratings. If he's not using his office as a dating pool, he's using his dating history as an excuse not to step up to his responsibilities as a business owner and mediate disputes as they arise. So he's not interested in protecting the reputation or integrity of the Oppenheim brand. He's interested in, if this sloppiness gets another season of the Selling Sunset show, then I'm all in. So Chrishell, please tell Mary that you don't intend to help out, with us selling this penthouse and that you're not a team player. Please yell at Nicole at a $20 million open house by your black colleague and say, bitch, 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 fuck, fuck, fuck. and storm out of the $20 million open house, creating a scene that might have very well cost Chelsea a sale. Chrishell keep on going with the drug accusations in Palm Springs, in Cabo, now in season 9. Chrishell, it's fine for you to fire Amanda because she pointed out that you weren't at a work-related dinner. At no point has Jason tried to check anybody. He is happy to let his show become a debacle that's, staged at the Oppenheim Group. The Oppenheim Group, to me, is a real estate office of chaos. Contrasted with Ryan Serhant, and maybe it's because Ryan Serhant's been happily married for a long time, so he doesn't look at his brokerage as his dating pool. But Ryan Serhant's company is at least twice the size of the Oppenheim Group. Ryan Serhant is a man who stands on business. He doesn't care what you look like. As a matter of fact, the show on Owning Manhattan even had a scene where he had agents who speak, I think, like 8 or 9 different languages making videos because he knows wealth is all over the world. Ryan Serhant knows diversity is an asset. And when the people like Trisha Lee perform, he rewards them and rewards their loyalty. Now, side note, looks like people have an issue with his loyalty in season 2, but I'm putting that to the side and just saying that when you look at these 2 white men, I, as a woman of color, if I had to make a choice between which of these white men I would choose to be my boss, to be my mentor, it would be Ryan Serhant every day plus Sunday twice, because Jason Oppenheim is not interested in selling real estate. He's not interested in mentoring. He's interested in having the pretty women that he will potentially fuck sell for him so that he can then go to Mykonos and party with his brother and, fuck around while other people work. So some people call, the Oppenheim Group a brothel. I think in one way it is, because he's pimping these women out in one way or another. If he's not fucking you, he's making money off of you and fucking you over with your commission. Talk to Brie about that. Or he's literally fucking you over on camera by letting you appear coked out, irrational, and aggressive, and outlandishly inappropriate, because he'd rather you do that than go to rehab. So that is why, in my opinion, Jason Oppenheim is a P.I.M.P. And Ryan Serhant is the man he wants to be, but will never, ever achieve. Thanks for listening to the Selling Sanity podcast, and I'll talk to you guys soon.